Tonight's the night for football, everybody. The bright lights are on, the stage is set, and the crowd is ready. It's Monday Night Primetime on EA Sports. Straight ahead with a nationwide audience tuning in, it's a Monday Night Primetime showdown between the Dallas Cowboys and the Las Vegas Raiders. Time for teams to start making moves towards the postseason. Here we go. It's Week 11. Starting from the 5. Good work so far. He's got room. And he gets across the 30 before he's brought down.
Take over first and 10 at their own 31-yard line.
All right, let's get this one on the road, Brock. It is first and 10.
Yeah, here we go. I take
Opening play, and Dak's going to throw. Makes the connection. This is Jaden Blue. And he's going to just get this across midfield before he's taken out of bounds. They managed 22 on the rip and a first down.
Speaks to this guy's talent as just an all-around difference maker, playmaker. We see him line up as a receiver, and we don't even bat an eye, Kate. And we don't really bat an eye when he makes that kind of play either. This guy's just different, built for the moment.
And 47. Here we go, 46, 46. Go,
They kick the running back in motion. First down, here's Dak. Connection made with his running back down the middle. And into the end zone he goes for a Dallas touchdown. The Cowboys take a 6-0 lead right away. Well, Brock, they could prove me wrong, but I don't think touchdowns are going to come that easily the rest of this game. But starting out, we all welcome the quick score.
Yeah, not a lot of energy exerted, right? Not a lot of their cards shown just yet. They only got a couple plays into their strategy, and they found pay dirt. A lot of mystery still to come with what they're going to do schematically. A lot of answers have to be found defensively.
Wings in the kick at the 9. And he's brought down just inside the 25.
The Raiders take over first and 10 at their own 24-yard line.
First call here coming from the shotgun.
Here we go, Slot.
Shotgun snap to Fields. And his first offering of the game winds up incomplete. This one misses the tight end. And it's going to be second down. Not must-have yet, Brock, but it does feel pretty important that they come up with an answer for that touchdown, but not going to be easy.
Nope, and incompletions like that certainly won't help.
Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop it. And that sack may change the next play call as it sends them backwards ahead of third down.
When they were in their defensive meetings this week, that's exactly how you draw it up. Play sound zone defense. Give that quarterback nowhere to go, and let that pass rush get home.
Fields now, third and long. Escapes out to the left. Firing it deep, left side. Big gain downfield. And he's out of bounds, up close to the opposing 40. They rip off a huge chunk of field as the downs reset. So the big play gets him inside the opposing 45, Brock, with a new set of downs to boot. That's taken in nicely by Brock Bowers. And he's going to be brought down at the 23-yard line. They get 19 on that pickup. And the Raiders are going to have a first down.
From a great throw to a nice route and catch to moving the chains, there wasn't a whole lot not to like about that amazing play.
Here we go. 222, 222. Go.
First down throw for Fields. Finds him over the middle. And that tackle stops him after a solid gain.
It's not just imperative that a quarterback knows man or zone. Same thing for a receiver, especially on a drag route. When he sees zone coverage like that, just settle down, find the soft spot, and give your quarterback a chance.
Here we go, Side. 319.
Now Fields again. It's a screen play to Genti. And they're going to stop him, but he got enough to make it 1st and goal from the 8.
To this day, I can still see the faces of the big guys in the huddle. When you call a screen like that, instead of them just getting knocked backwards, they get to be salesmen. They get to push those linemen downfield and then tee off and go hit somebody like they did right there.
Finds Genti underneath. And he's in. Touchdown, Las Vegas. The Raiders finish off their opening drive. Point after from Carlson is up and good. And the Raiders respond with 7 of their own to tie it here early. Well, you can't do that. Got to avoid hitting the kicker. And because of that, the kickoff will be coming from midfield. So we've got a tie ball game now as they send this away. And that one bounces through the end zone for a touchback.
The Cowboys take over 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line.
To the line come the Cowboys. Good starting spot here. 1st and 10. Dak off the play fake. Rolling out to his left. Into the hands of Pickett. There it is. Touchdown, Dallas. The Cowboys take the lead on the first play of the drive. George Pickens the touchdown. For the point after, here's Aubrey. Extra point sent right down the middle. And the Cowboys take the lead here, 14-7 in the first.
Raiders 7.
Aubrey now to kick this one away. Return coming from the 6. And he's out of bounds up beyond the 30.
The Raiders take over 1st and 10 at their own 31-yard line.
New set of downs for him from the 31.
Here we go. You got it. 551. 12 go. That's right.
And they're going to run for the first time now with the rookie from Boise State. And he is stopped as he reaches that 46-yard line. It's a pickup of 14 yards as the chains reset.
A run like that, Kate, it just gives everybody a little bit more bounce offensively because you also know it can set the table for more.
46-yard line.
1st and 10 now from the 46.
Here we go. We're good. Tonight.
Another give here to Genti. And he's into the front for a gain of about 2.
Okay, that's a run that's ho-hum on the stat sheet, but if you see a bigger play on the ground later on, it'll largely be because of a play just like that one, softening up the front and opening the door for a bigger gap in the future.
Need a better result than that last run. It's 2nd and 8.
Here we go. Tonight.
Out of the shotgun, Fields. Finds a seam down the middle. And nothing doing after the catch, but a good gain on it. They're down to the 35. That play good for 17 and a first down. No doubt they'll take a repeat of how this game began, Brock, and that play has them on their way towards it.
Scripting for success. They'll keep pressing the advantage, too, until some resistance has got to finally appear.
Completed over the middle. And he's tackled after gaining a handful.
Hey, you like these results on first. That completion right there, right in the window where all options are now available to you on second down. That playbook wide open.
And that's going to do it for our first quarter here on Monday Night Primetime. It's a 14-7 game. We'll return to Allegiant Stadium right after this. Time now for the second quarter. Raiders in possession. They're advancing it well as they face second down.
Right.
Fields to throw it. Escapes the pocket. Oh, look at this. Here he goes. And he'll get them enough for a first down.
You know, before the snap, right before the snap, you may have to take off if the read isn't there. That was a great adjustment made at the perfect time for the first down.
Offense is set. 1st and 10.
Here we go. Night.
Genty from the gun. And he's able to manage a couple on that run.
Hey, we know running the ball in the NFL is hard, and that play pretty indicative of it. Here's the key, though. At the end of the game, those type of plays got to be in the minority, and the majority have got to do some damage.
Here we go.
Fields out of the gun. Short pass brought in. And they are going to have to face a 3rd down here, but only need a yard at most as this play picks up 7.
There's no question, Kate, that the big plays down the seam or will make tight ends a fan favorite, but it's those type of catches right there. The short yardage, it gets good coverage, contested catches that really make tight ends a locker room favorite.
Here comes play number 8 of the drive, 3rd and 1.
Green 19, Judge. Right.
Looking to throw on 3rd and 1. Dumped off to his running back. And he is well clear of that marker. That effort's going to set them up with a 1st and goal.
Hey, Kate, they don't rightly care who it's going to go to in that situation. All they really care about are the results on 3rd down. And that's exactly the result they needed. Enough to keep this drive moving.
Here's Genty. And he will haul it in for the Vegas touchdown. The Raiders can tie it up in the 2nd after cutting into the lead. They kept it on the ground as opposed to airing it out, and that time, well, Brock, the ground game paid off.
Well, these great rushing attacks down here that could score rushing touchdowns, it takes the whole party getting involved. Yeah, the burst of the running back was tremendous. How about the launch of his blockers right off the line of scrimmage? That's a touchdown the entire way, and it took the entire group offensively.
Now after tying this game up, they're all set to send her away. And he just sends this out and over the end zone, so no threat of a return. They're going to spot the ball up at the 35 to begin this drive. The Cowboys have it in great field position as they come up to the line, 1st and 10.
Here we go.
Blue gets the handoff. And he's only going to get 2 or 3 yards on that one.
It's one of those sneaky little runs, Kate, that gets you enough yards to create some doubt into that defensive coordinator. You could stick to the ground. You could throw beyond the sticks. You really create some indecision now defensively.
Give on 2nd here to Blue. And he'll pick up enough to move the chains.
That's the type of call that offensively, man, it just builds so much confidence. I don't even think they were looking to get the 1st down. Just get to a manageable 3rd down. But instead, they move the chains. And that is one disheartening look on that defense.
Here's 1st and 10 from the 47. On the give, it's Blue. And this is through the midfield stripe and onto the Raiders' side of the field. Good rip on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 2.
So much to like about that run, Kate, particularly what he was able to get out of it. The defense, I think, feels a little fortunate they were able to track him down before an even bigger run and crossing that 1st down marker.
They pick the hands off. Now Prescott. Finds him on the crossing route. This is going to make it down to the 24-yard line. So after plenty of scoring already, we have reached the 2-minute warning. More on Monday Night Primetime in just a moment. Coming to the line for another 1st and 10. Off the play fake, hits Prescott. Too much lead on that throw. That falls incomplete ahead of his target. Trying to get that one to CeeDee Lamb. So it's 2nd down coming up. Well, he's been perfect to that point on the drive, Buck. First time we've seen this coverage force him into a misstep in a while.
I know you hear me talk all the time, Kate, about the rhythm of an offense, right?
Yeah.
And I look at it through those optics so much. But it's the same thing defensively. You've got to get a stop, see the ball hit the ground to knock them out of that rhythm.
So a solid gain there, Brock, but still third down and short that they've got to figure out now as they pick up 9 on that previous play.
Well, this is the type of game we've come to expect from him as a runner, toting the ball, but he's just as adept at turning the screen into the same kind of yardage, too.
Seventh play of the drive now as they need a yard here on third down. Play action, Prescott. Flushed out of the pocket. Play didn't break how they wanted it, and he throws this away.
Look at the coverage on that play, Kate. I love that. That is textbook defense right there. When the quarterback escapes the pocket, now you got to find somebody. You got to go get sticky on your offensive guy. It's exactly what the secondary did, and it forces the throwaway.
So the field goal team stays sidelined. They're going to go for this.
Yeah, here we go. Kill.
They do snap it. Here's Prescott. And that's going to wind up incomplete as their gamble doesn't pay off. They're going to turn this one over on downs.
You know, Kate, I don't think I've ever met a defender that cares. All they want to do is get off the field. Doesn't matter if it's a drop pass, deflection, breakup, even an interception. Challenged by the offense to get one more stop to get off the field, and that's exactly what they did.
Raiders just about ready for this one. It's 1st and 10.
Here we go.
Looking to throw Fields. Stays in bounds and makes the catch. And he's up across the 20 before going out of bounds.
Well, that one came with a high degree of difficulty. Had to balance focusing on the catch, keeping those feet in bounds.
Offense to line. This is 2nd and 4.
Here we go.
Here's Fields to throw. He completes it in traffic. And he's tackled with a first down yardage. And now the Raiders call for the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 left to work with before halftime.
1st and 10 at the 31-yard line.
New set of downs for him from the 31.
Here we go. 19 wins. 19 wins. Tonight.
1st and 10. Here's Fields. Defender arrives right as the ball does, and the hit knocks it free. Incomplete. Just couldn't hang on through the contact. So that brings up 2nd down. Another look for him, Brock, and hey, why not with the way he's playing so far? But this time, just couldn't hang on.
I think you'll see coordinators at times, Kate, get away from something that's working. I like that they go back to him. Make them defend him and stop him. They did that time. But my hunch is they'll look for that receiver again today.
Here we go. Turbo, son.
2nd and 10 now. Fields. This is Cox. That's Bowers working downfield. And he's going to take this down to the opposing 44. A timeout taken by Vegas. That's its 2nd. And they still have 1 in their pocket for what's left of this half. Defenders in the area, they still make the connection, Brock. Almost looked like it was just another throw on the practice field.
Yeah, this is how you just develop that just trust factor, that connection. We see it with QBs and tight ends, and the best of them make it look easy.
Throwing on 1st down. Fields. Still has some space inside the 35. And Fields slides down safely as he picks up the 1st. Raiders moving quickly, trying to get set as the clock continues to run. Shotgun give here to Jensen. And he can only manage 1 yard. The defenders were at the ready to bring him down. Now the Raiders using the last of their timeouts. And that's all they've got for what little remains of this half.
Sometimes you just feel like in the background of every ho-hum run is a bigger play that just needed one more component. Hit that extra block a little longer. Find the lane quicker. The defender may be a half step late, and this could have been much, much more exciting.
Hey, Ken. Move the deck, move your head. Right.
Shotgun snap to Fields. Throw caught at the 6. And he will not score, but that does set him up, Brock, with first and goal, less than a yard away from the end zone.
You know, it sure seems like he knew exactly where he was going with that before the snap. That's a pre-snap decision that led to a post-snap first down.
Genty scores. Touchdown, Las Vegas. The Raiders take the lead just before halftime. Manage that clock beautifully. Down to the final moments, Brock, and they get the score just before halftime.
That doesn't change the theme of the halftime speech, but I guarantee you it adds some enthusiasm to the tone. That was awesome.
That one splits the uprights. And the Raiders break that tie and now lead by 7. Time left for maybe a return plus a play here as they send this away. So it goes for a touchback. Let's see what they decide to do with the time they've got remaining here. Only 10 seconds remaining here, so 1st and 10 may be our last snap of the half. Back to throw it. And they don't connect there, so only 6 seconds remaining.
Even the best of them could be hurried into a throw before they're ready, and that pressure just messed up all the timing, the rhythm, and the clock of the quarterback.
Following the incompletion, we stay at the 35. It's 2nd and 10. They send a man in motion. Looking to throw. He throws a bullet to the center of the field. Looked well downfield for that one. All he found was a waiting defender to knock it away. 3rd down coming up.
I know a DB in the stat sheet loves to see INT and not PBU, but as soon as he realized a pick wasn't possible, he does the next best thing and knocks it away.
Looking to throw. He's loaded another one up. His final shot of the half will not connect. That falls incomplete. No time remaining in our first half.
Brandon Aubrey to kick off for the Cowboys.
Aubrey now to kick this one away. Returnable from the 1. And he's brought down inside the 20 on an uneventful effort.
Raiders take over 1st and 10 at their own 18-yard line.
The Las Vegas offense is set. 1st and 10.
Here we go.
First play is going to be a give to Genty. And this winds up being an excellent play for them from deep in their own territory, up approaching that 30-yard line.
A gain of 10 yards.
They come through with a nice gain there. Gain of 10, 1st down.
First down. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line.
Here we go. 319.
They fake the handoff. Now Fields. He's going to loft one deep to the left. That one's caught at the 10-yard line. He makes it in for the touchdown. The Raiders grow the lead coming out of halftime.
That's some good old-fashioned playground football. Even at the elementary school, find the fastest kid and let him run.
And the kick is good. And we're going to have some extra yardage added to the kickoff on the roughing call. The Raiders kicking team is out there, and they'll boot this away. And he wasn't chancing a return there, putting it out on the back of the end zone for a touchback. To the line come the Cowboys. Good starting spot here, 1st and 10. Shotgun snap, he'll give to Blue. And this drive's quickly headed in the wrong direction. First play set down behind the line. So some immediate revenge for that last play, Brock. I don't know. What do you think? Is it going to take away the pain from giving up that big run the prior play?
Not necessarily, because it really does take a group failure to give up a big run like that in the NFL. But it also takes a whole lot of teamwork to knock them behind the sticks. Job well done there.
46. 47.
Dak now from the gun. Brought in by Jake Ferguson. And he has it right near midfield here. It's like about a yard short. That one goes for 17 yards and moves the chains.
Move the chains! Gotta move them chains! Build momentum and keep that defense on its heels.
17 yards. And a Cowboy first down.
Ball just a yard shy of midfield. 1st and 10.
Yeah, here we go.
1st down, here's Dak. And this time they're going to get to him before he can get that pass away as he goes down. And the big play drives them backwards. 2nd down coming up.
And look at that. All that effort and success from the previous play, it is gone. Credit to this defense who snapped and cleared. That's part of this game. You got to snap and clear. Give up a big play, come back and make a big one for yourself. And they do, getting home with that sack.
Here we go.
Dak off the play fake. And he's in trouble and gets brought down again. And hopefully they'll have some better blocking on the next play because that was not good. Brings up 3rd down.
Kate, I don't know if I've ever told you, but my dad was a driver's ed teacher. And I could just hear him right now say, son, take this out of reverse and put it in drive because this one's going nowhere right now. A drastic change on this play needed and maybe a whole lot of luck to keep this series alive.
Bails out of the pocket quick. He had it for a moment, but a great defensive play to jar it loose. Incomplete. Looking for George Pickens that time. And they're going to be stuck with a 4th and long. Dallas sends its punting unit onto the... And this somehow is only going to be our first punt of the game. And a fair catch made without incident, just inside the 25.
Take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
Raiders just about ready for this one. It's 1st and 10.
Here we go. All right.
Here's Genty running right. And he's into the front for a gain of about 2.
I don't think that's the amount that they were looking for there, Kate. Going to lead to some shuffling around here in the playbook. Find a more aggressive call on 2nd.
Following that little 2-yard run, it's 2nd and 8.
Here we go, son. It's all right.
Back to Genty. Jukes away from one. Rolling into enemy territory. Again, he's got room. Ashton Genty. He's going to score. Touchdown, Las Vegas. The Raiders make it a 3-possession game.
Okay, we hear week after week how hard it is to run the football.
And wow, Brock, this one is no good. He has been automatic so far this season, but for the first time here, he whiffs on that extra point. The Raiders kicking team is out there, and they'll boot this away. Fields this one at the 3. And he's brought down just beyond that 25-yard line.
The Cowboys take over 1st and 10 at their own 26-yard line.
Offense into the shotgun set as they line this up. 1st and 10. Working out of the gun, it's Prescott. Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop it. And the drive begins with a rough first step there. That's going to bring up 2nd down.
Taking a look at that scoreboard, and you just can't backwards. If you're going to close this gap, you've got to stay on schedule. Had a hard time doing so with a double-digit deficit.
In a real troublesome spot here, Brock. That sack has him set up 2nd down and 21. Prescott will look to throw. On screen here to Blue. They aren't getting anything here, Brock. They're actually going to lose some. Back to the 10.
Kate, that's one of those situations as a quarterback that on my grade sheet, that's a negative. That screen was ambushed by the defense, and you've got to throw it away. Just find a way to put it at his feet and not create a negative play for your offense.
Defense nearing a stop. Need to hold once more here on 3rd down. Here he goes, 3rd and long. Connects on the crosser. And he'll get it up to the 27. Offense in the hurry up here.
3 plays
And now the Raiders call for the first of their timeouts, as that'll leave them with just 2 to use the rest of the way. All right, looks like this is the moment. They're going to make their comeback push. They're going for it on 4th. Pickens, the motion man right. They're going for this with Prescott. That's Ferguson. He brings it in. They hit for 16 yards on 4th down, and a drive a lot of us thought had stalled out is going to carry on.
You know, Kate, you'll find teams go to this crossing route concept sometimes a dozen times a game. A lot of times it's for shorter yardage, but sometimes teams break in the right coverage for a much bigger impact play, just like that.
So just 1 quarter to go on Monday Night Primetime. It's not quite over yet, but it'd take a pretty miraculous comeback. We've got a 3-score game as we get set to start the 4th quarter. First down from the 42. Play action now for Prescott. Oh, he got hit as he was throwing, and unsurprisingly, it falls incomplete. 2nd down coming up.
And this is why scouts talk about a player's closing speed, Kate. You know, once he senses the pressure, he's getting rid of that ball. It takes a player who can close quickly to get to him before it's released. And that sure altered the throw.
No luck on 1st down. Here's 2nd and 10. Prescott, a quick throw, complete. He's right up next to that 1st down. Doesn't quite get there. Gain of 9. That brings up 3rd and short.
That's really good instinct by the eyes up in the sky. The play caller seeing space on the perimeter, a well-timed screen, and a positive gain out of it.
1 yard, all that's needed. This is 3rd and inches. Throwing again, Prescott. Complete beyond the marker. And he's going to get stopped right around the 45-yard line. Working quickly here.
3 yards. First down.
Now it's Prescott again. Completed over the middle. And he'll be brought down at about the 29. Offense up to the line fast.
Cowboys first down. A gain of 16.
Prescott to throw once more.
And the Cowboys first down.
Pass is caught by Blue. He gets this down to the 13-yard line. Offense to the line fast.
16 more yards. That's another Cowboys first down. A gain of 16 yards. First down, Dallas.
From the red zone now. And this is caught. Touchdown, Dallas. The Cowboys get it back to within 2 possessions. Well, we all know that he's somebody they like to have working down near the end zone, Brock, and there is so many ways they know how to use him down there.
Yeah, things are constantly different down there when you're trying to defend him, which is what makes defending him so tough, borderline impossible at times. He can make the smallest little tweaks to his route just like a receiver would, and it's a totally different animal, a nightmare for these defenses.
They recognize the situation they're in now. After that score, they're going to try to get it right back. And the Raiders are able to secure the kick. And he's down. Looks like they made the stop at the 46-yard line. The Las Vegas offense is set. 1st and 10.
Here we go.
Giving this to Genty. And he's able to manage a couple on that run.
This offense is now left with some ground to make up a little bit here on 2nd down after that drive starts with a very minimal gain.
Need a better result than that last run. It's 2nd and 8.
Here we go, son. 5:51, 5:51, 12 to go. Hey, can. All right.
Off the play fake, it's Fields. Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop it. And that pushes them back. 3rd down coming up.
Kate, that was so good, really, on 2 levels there defensively. Number 1, with an athletic quarterback, you've got to keep him in the pocket. They did. And then more importantly, and in this case, you got to finish him. Job well done.
Fields now, 3rd and long. Finds him over the middle. And they're going to hold him down just shy of the 40. Working quickly here.
A gain of 13 on the play. It's 4th down.
Liz.
They do snap it. Here's Fields. That finds Besh, complete. And they're going to be set up just outside that red zone. That's going to be a 20-yard hit on 4th down, Brock. That keeps this drive moving. We're down to the 2-minute warning here in Vegas. Raiders nearing their 6th win this season. And keep this drive moving, partner. Here's another 1st and 10.
Here we go. Go.
Out of the shotgun, Fields. Has him on the quick hitter. And this play reaches the 12-yard line before the stop is made.
You know, Kate, over the years, I've heard defensive coordinators say, hey, you got to earn the right to rush the passer. You got to earn the right for me to call blitzes. And when you call a blitz and you don't get home and you don't hit the quarterback, you've earned nothing.
Oh, Brock, look at this. He's setting up to throw it. This one's caught. Touchdown, Vegas. The Raiders making a 3-score game in the 4th. So an exclamation point there. That caps off what, and I think you'd agree, Brock, has been a dominating performance.
Yeah, I would. Really in all phases, too. You know, I thought coming in that this would be a much closer game than how it's turned out to be. And you got to give credit where it's due. This offense has been outstanding throughout.
All right, Fields has his guys set. Looking to tack on 2 to that touchdown.
Here we
The
go.
Raiders will line up for the 2-point conversion.
All right, they're going to throw for it. And no connection on the 2-point try. It fails.
I've heard great receiver coaches say, watch your fingers wrap around the ball. You know, it's pretty clear he should have had that one, and he didn't get the job done. And 2 points, well, they're left on the table.
Fielded at the 7. And he's going to make this to the 28 before going down.
On the return, the Cowboys take over 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line.
Cowboys just about set. Here comes 1st and 10. They take the hands off. Now Prescott. Drops this underneath. It's Blue. And this one gets to the 33-yard line before it's stopped. Clock is working against them as they hurry up to the line.
Brings up 2nd and 5 at the 33-yard line.
Deck to throw. On the move, headed right. He takes it himself. And they're able to drive him out as he reaches the 45. Pickup of 12 on that play. And that'll be good for a Dallas first down.
Well, I think he was looking for that running lane and that running room from the very start right there, partner. Even as he worked through his progression initially, he was waiting for space to open, and then he takes advantage with his legs.
Well, his first real mistake, that's intercepted. And the Raiders will take over as he records his first interception of our season.
I'll hear a lot of defensive coordinators say you've got to earn the right to rush the passer by doing work on the early downs. You know what this is, Kate? They've earned the right to be aggressive defensively with the work they did through 3 quarters, and this defense is cutting it loose.
They're going to pass it here. Gets him on the in route. And he's got a decent gain before being brought down.
Okay, one thing I learned from the late, great Mike Leach is, yeah, the system was called air raid, but it wasn't just attacking downfield. His philosophy, and it played out right there, is you have to attack every inch of the field, both vertically and horizontally, with out routes or in routes just like that.
And they get this down to the 12-yard line before being stopped. They'll pick up 14 yards on that one, and that's a Vegas first down. A dose of the hurry-up offense here.
First and 10 at the 12-yard line.
Working inside the red zone. Has room into the secondary. And they take this in for the score. The Raiders put up even more points in a win. It's a Justin Fields touchdown.
These touchdowns on the season haven't all looked the same, but boy, has he made a habit of scoring touchdowns on the ground.
All right, Fields has his guys set, looking to tack on 2 to that touchdown.
Here we go.
The Raiders will line up for the
Look to throw. Chased out to his right. And before he can get rid of it, he runs out of bounds. Could have just tossed it incomplete, Bruff, but instead takes the sack and a big loss.
Cowboys 21.
The Raiders kicking team is out there, and they'll boot this away. Fields the hard squib kick. And he's brought down, Brock, and that brings this ball game to a close. So put this in the win column for the Raiders. And it was a game for fans of high